to Lucena. This is not a very popular city in Andalusia. I don't understand why, because it's absolutely beautiful. It's known as the city of the three cultures, which comes from the Moorish times when it was Al-Andalus, and it has a really deep history in the Moors, in the Jews, which inhabited mainly the city from the 9th to the 12th century, and the Christians, of course, that came after. Lucena is in the province of Cordoba. We weren't planning to come here now at all, but if you watched the last vlog, you know that we were down at Costa above Nerja, doing a hike that didn't go very well. So our plan was to stay in Nerja and see Frigiliana and do some vlogs from there before we tried to hike again. But the weather didn't play on our side. It started raining and then the wind started, and we literally checked all over Andalusia for a place with less wind than 40 kilometers an hour, and that took us to Lucena. So here we are. We are in Palacio de los Condes de Santa Ana, which is one of the amazing palaces in Lucena. It has two really beautiful patios inside, as you can see here. It was built between 1720 and 1740. The most beautiful part inside, in my opinion, is the staircase, and it's beautiful ceilings, so you must look up. It's free to enter, like the other palaces in the city, which is really cool, because inside you have an archaeological museum and a lot of remains from Cueva del Ángel or Cueva de los Ángeles. I can't remember which name it was, but it's a prehistoric cave that is found just outside Lucena, and it's not allowed to visit the cave, which really bummed me out because I love going to places like that, but it's because of the preservation of the bats that live there, so it's good that we don't let tourism in them. But yeah, this is a must visit in Lucena. As I said, free to enter, so there's no excuse. One church while you're in Lucena, Parroquia de San Mateo, is a must. Like, we've been into quite a few churches in the city, but they haven't really been that impressive inside. When I walked in here, I was just blown away. We're gonna show you some cinematics now. Like, the first chapel you get into on the right side is one of the most amazing I've seen in entire Spain, to be honest. And also the outer piece, like the front, is really, really beautiful. Just managed to visit Casa de los Mora before it's closed. It's a convent from 1575, and later in the 1800s it works as a wine distillery, liquor factory, and oil factory, I think. Switch the cars.
Yes, of course.
Of course.
Wait for the car.
Standing in the middle of the street and they just keep coming.
Yeah.
So, as I said, it worked as a winery, a liquor factory, and oil mill from the 1800s. Inside now you can see remains of the convent, which includes the crypts. So you can literally just see the crypts from a glass floor, so you can't go in there. There are also permanent exhibitions showing remains from the crypts, human remains, animal remains, and other finds, archaeological finds that I found here. There is also a permanent exhibition with different copper utensils and machinery that they used in the liquor factory. So it's actually quite interesting, but to be honest, I didn't find it hard. I didn't find it that impressive as other palaces here in town.
And it's for free.
It's also for free, that's good to know.
Yeah.
So it's worth taking a peek and see if you like it or not anyway.
Yeah. Let's go to the next stop.
really ancient fossils. Like, look at this. It's like hundreds of millions of years old. There's a whole exhibition with remains from Cueva del Ángel, which is the Angel's Cave, that is found just outside Lucena. It's not possible to visit, as I mentioned earlier. It's really amazing, like it's all prehistoric remains and just blows my mind away. A cave woman.
Yes.
And a caveman, look. Castillo del Moral was built in the 11th century, but it's been renovated and fortified so many times after that. It's a really nice place to visit in Lucena. Most of it's exhibitions where you can see anything from prehistoric times and the history of the castle, but to be honest, the best thing is to come up to the tower to see these incredible views. In the sun. I'm really surprised after seeing the city. Like, Lucena receives about 70-80% local tourists, like Spanish tourists, which means there's very few foreign tourists here. It really gives you a feel of being in Spain. I just love it. It's 9 o'clock in the morning. It's super cold. We're here to visit the Jewish Necropolis. It's usually only open on the weekends, Saturdays and Sundays at 9 o'clock, and you have to pre-book your ticket. So what we did, we went to the castle in Lucena and we got a joint ticket there for the castle and the necropolis and the Alfar, which we will visit after the necropolis. And it's €7 for a joint ticket, which I think is pretty good. Just to visit to the castle is $3.50. So you can visit midweek. The guide told us that you can call up front and book, but it will be more expensive because it's not open. So they will have to call in a guide. They have guided visits here, and you have to ask for English if you don't speak Spanish. So we will have a Spanish guide, so we will not film any of that since you probably don't understand it. But we will try to tell you as best we can about the place afterwards. Necropolis. It was actually not found before 2006, which is pretty late. They first found 5 bodies that they thought were from the Civil War. And when they found out that they were Jewish, they were transferred to the United States, to the Jewish society there, before they came back again 5 years later. And they're now buried here. You can see all the remains have been dug up and put into these new graves. So now there are several bodies in each of these graves. They're all, as you can see, they're all facing the same way towards the sacred city. Before they found the necropolis in 2006, there was only some written evidence that Lucena had been inhabited by the Jewish, and they were here from the 9th to the 12th centuries. That's a long time. So Lucena had tried to join a Jewish association, Red de Juderia, called in Spanish, for a long time, but because they didn't have any physical evidence that the Jewish were here, only like some letters and written pieces, they were denied the whole time. But after they found the necropolis, they finally had a physical evidence of the Jews here, so now they were accepted into the association. So Lucena was really happy about that. It's incredible to think about 4 centuries there were Jews living here, pretty much only Jews, and they left nothing. So this is all we can see today. They found 2 different kinds of graves here. This is the first one. They would carry the body on a wooden stretcher. So they would put the body inside the hole, and they would put the stretcher on top, on the little plateau that you see over there. On top of there they would put soil, and then they would have like a gravestone on top to show where the grave was. Then come and we'll see the second one. This one is different, so they would put the body inside, under the rock surface on the side. Then they would put soil to cover, so they wouldn't use the wooden stretcher here, because the point of it was that the body was going to have some air and have contact with God, and they would get that naturally from that little cave that was built in the rock. Before the Jews leave the cemetery, they will always clean themselves, because inside the cemetery where the dead are, it's said to be impurities. So they have this fountain at the exit, which will be continuously flowing water, so it will not be reused, because they believe that then it will be like dirty water when they reuse the water, so it will be continuously flowing and leaving the area. So they have this cup, so they use the left hand to take the left handle, fill it with water, then they clean their hand 3 times, put it back down. Now they have the right hand is clean, so they use the right handle, which is the clean handle. And they do the same thing here, they clean their hand 3 times, and then they can leave. We're at the Roman Alfar, which is an old ceramic place. It was mainly in use in the 1st and the 2nd century. And what's really cool is that this is one of the 3 biggest ceramic places, Roman ceramic places in all of Spain. The place was found in 1996, and they tried to find a water source, I think, for something, and they came over these Roman ruins. So apparently the reason why the ceramic place was set here, far from any other big cities, was that it was close enough to other cities, but still far enough away so that the smoke wouldn't disturb the people. It was also a tiny river here, and it was clay not far from here. So slaves would go and carry the clay over here, while the artisans, they would go to the place and choose the best clay for the ceramic work that the slaves had to take. These are some of the original ovens, the ceramical ovens. They would typically have these little tunnels where they would blow air in to get more heat inside the oven, and the ceramic pieces were put on top to cook. So the ones that would be working here were the ceramics, like the people that made the ceramics, and it was slaves that did all the hard work. The slaves would typically go inside to get the ceramics, and when it was really hot still, they actually found a footprint from a bare foot in one of the ovens. So pretty scary job, I would say. As you can see, the museum is completely new. It just opened last year, like last summer, so it's only been open a few months. We're super lucky to be here. To leave Lucena, but first we headed up to the sanctuary of Maria Santissima de Aracela. It's a beautiful setting on top of a hill where you can see 5 of the 8 provinces of Andalusia. So you can see Cordoba, Jaén, Granada, Seville and Malaga. So it's amazing views up here, and now we're gonna see the sanctuary. Come on. Lucena by car, I really recommend coming up here. It's about 10 minutes drive, 5 to 6 kilometers. So it's quite a long walk, but it's really worth it. That village over there is Rute. It's another village in the Cordoba province where we went a few months back. So if you haven't seen it yet, check out the link up here to watch the whole vlog. Before we leave, we're gonna have some lunch. It's actually our breakfast. We're not saying that out loud.
Brunch.
Brunch. It's a really, really luxurious brunch with exquisite views.
Absolutely.
So this was it from Lucena. I really hope you enjoyed the city just as much as we did. We really, really loved it here. And we are heading to a small town called Cabra, which is about 25 minutes drive from here. So